Welcome to the Diorama Guy. I'm Gary Tangeman, and today we're going to take a look at the Conte Collectables World War II Longest Day series of playsets from World War II. You know, I spent a lot of time over the years looking at YouTube, hoping someone would put an unboxing of these playsets out there for all of us to see and enjoy. But as I've looked for years and years, no one has ever done anything like this. So I thought it was time for us to put together a series where we take a look at each one of these Conte Collectible playsets, so we have an idea of what was included, what the boxes look like, and everything that went with them. So we're going to take a look today at playset number 1, Hold Until Relieved, all based on the World War II film The Longest Day. The 1962 Darrell F. Zanuck movie was considered one of the last great World War II films in its day. The cast of characters in The Longest Day is an all-star international caliber and reads like a who's who's list of Hollywood legends. People like John Wayne, Rod Steiger, Robert Ryan, Henry Fonda, Robert Mitchum, Richard Burton, Robert Wagner, and Sean Connery, and many, many others. Conte Collectables first burst onto the scene back in 1999 at the Toy Soldier Show back in Chicago. But it wasn't until 2001 that the first publication came out giving information, photos, details about what this first playset was all about. Let's take a look at that right now. An article on this World War II playset first appeared in Plastic Figure and Playset magazine, February 1st. 2001, number 70. And in this article, there was a 10-page spread with pictures and explanation of what was included in this playset. They were all in black and white, but they at least gave us an idea of what Conte had put into their very first World War II playset for us to enjoy. As I mentioned, playset number 1 was called Hold Until Relieved. And it depicts that scene in the movie when British paratroopers were dropped behind enemy lines and were told to take and to hold the Orne Bridge until relief could arrive. The playset came in a beautiful box measuring 28 inches long, 18 3/4 inches wide, and 10 inches high. It was printed in full color, as you can see, and the scenes on the box illustrate the actual playset figures and accessories found in the set, including the bridge and battle-damaged corner buildings, a multi-piece 2-story building, and 2 Dragon's Teeth tank barricades, all contained in one large playset box. As you opened the lid of the box, lying on top was a large white envelope measuring 12.5 inches by 9.5 inches. Containing a letter introducing the playset to collectors from Richard Conte. Also included is the famous letter from Dwight D. Eisenhower preparing the U.S. troops for the D-Day landing to come. And finally, there is an actual reproduction of the British Pegasus patch worn by the British paratroopers who landed on D-Day. All of that for those who purchase both playsets 1 and 2 together at the same time. Okay, now we get to the good stuff. Once you've opened the box, we want to take a look now at some of the playset pieces that were contained in this awesome playset itself. And the first item we're going to look at is the Orne Bridge, the center of the playset action. The Orne Bridge that you see here is the location of a major scene from the movie. British paratroopers are dropped behind the enemy lines and are told to hold until relieved. Now, while this was but one bridge among many that were captured and fought over during the early days of the invasion, the movie version shows a steel-sided girder-like structure, not at all like the open-styled, hand-laid brick river span that comes packaged in set number 1 of the Longest Day playset. The same holds true with the battle-damaged buildings and bunkers that are part of both sets 1 and 2. They are representative of scenes from the movie, not necessarily miniature duplications of what was in the movie. In all honesty, the bridge in the playset actually looks more like the popular Burnside Bridge from the Marx American Civil War sets. yet it is a very impressive in-scale accessory piece. Each section measures 15 inches long, 9¼ inches wide, and 4½ inches high at the largest end. The actual roadway between the raised sides measures a hair over 6 inches wide and, when assembled, measures an incredible 30 inches in length. As you can see, the roadway itself has a 3-inch wide crater-like hole with loose bricks strewn about. The rubble in this area is a sculptor's work of art, and it's well done. Set number 1 also contains 2 battle-damaged buildings. The first of these is a 2-story corner structure that is finished in the same realistic red-brown, almost maroon brickwork color, same as the bridge itself. The brick-strewn rubble depicted on this piece is truly a masterful job from the Conte sculptors. There's peeling wallpaper and wood lathes showing on the long-standing interior wall section, and cracked or missing plaster on the interior brick. The second battle-damaged structure in set 1 is far more elaborate. It's actually a multi-piece 2-story building with a base measuring 10¾ by 13½ and having a 1/2 inch sidewalk floor. The building itself measures 8¾ by 13½ by 9½ with an interior opening, and each floor and each level has a height of 4½ inches. It is finished in, as you can see, light and dark gray, black, and off-white colors, which gives the structure an eerie blackened by bombs effect. It comes colored with various accents, like the maroon church-like bench on the first floor, you'll notice that, and the green shutters where they show on some of the outside window walls. The second floor section is not actually removable, but we did so you could get a better idea of what this building looks like. This section depicts a 2nd-story bedroom area with bed and dresser among the fallen debris. A wall section surrounds the open stair area that leads to the main floor. The wood floor shows planks and broken beams and pieces of the roof amongst the rubble. The first floor area has a fireplace on one end wall with a chimney extending to the roof area and an enclosed stairway complete with closet door leading up to the 2nd floor among the opposite wall. There's also a long church-like bench located along the front wall and debris laden on the opposite wall. The separate roof section is a solid piece of foam which simply sits on the edge of the building walls. This 2-story building, with a 2nd-story floor and roof removed, allows for easy figure placement inside the structure. The 2nd-story area of the battle-damaged 2-story building shows some of the explicit interior detailing that abounds with this amazing accessory piece. And then there's the roof piece, which is fully detailed with brown wood beams showing through the shaked shingles and missing stucco and open stonework on the far end. There are 2 other polyurethane foam accessories included in the longest day playset number 1, 2 dragon's teeth tank barricades. Now both of these are a little different, one exhibiting some bomb damage, while the other is pretty much without any major flaws. Each one of these measures 14½ by 8¼ by 1¾ inches high, and as you can see are finished in light brown and green ground cover with light gray concrete bumpers. As for small accessories, set 1 contains 2 sprues of injected molded pieces and includes 6 accessories each: large barrel, small barrel, large crate, small crate, sack, and pail with rope handle. These are molded in light brown soft plastic. The other sprue accessories for this World War II theme are molded in German field gray plastic and contain boxes, crates, and oil gasoline barrels. Okay, we've looked at the buildings, and these buildings are really special. I mean, they are a great part of this set. But now we need to look at the figures. And there are 2 figure sets that go with playset number 1. First of all, we have the British paratroopers. We'll look at those. And then secondly, we have the German infantry. So let's begin. What does the British paratroopers, 8 figures, what do they look like? Let's take a look right now. All right, figure number 1, you'll notice the one that has been shot, has been wounded with a separate plug-in hand, and he is holding a machine gun and has a camo helmet. Looks very, very realistic. All right, standing right next to him, second figure. This one is standing, firing a machine gun with a camo helmet. And he looks excellent as well. Figure number 3, we find a figure here standing, firing a rifle, also with a camo helmet. And then figure number 4, this one is advancing with bayoneted rifle across his chest, also wearing a camo helmet. And then the next one is different, standing with a pistol at the ready, yelling. This one is wearing a beret. Figure number 5, standing, firing a machine gun, again with a camo helmet. And then number 7 is thrusting bayoneted rifle, also in beret. And then finally, we have the last figure standing, throwing a grenade in a beret. Well, as you can see, these British Red Devil paratroopers are sculpted with great attention to detail. The camouflage helmets and berets are another highlight, which certainly mirrors the soldiers depicted in the movie itself. Now in this set, there's a total of 48 British figures, 6 sets of 8 figures each, and all molded in a light army brown, soft plastic. And as you can see, from the weapons to the clothing to the poses, they're all very, very lifelike and add a great dimension to this playset number 1, Hold Until Relieved. Well, next, let's take a look at the German figures in set number 1. There are 32 German figures, 4 sets of 8 figures each, all molded in a field gray color. Figure number 1 is standing, firing a rifle. Again, very realistic in terms of the poses, the clothing, the firearms that are being used. Amazing detail. Figure number 2, throwing a grenade, and this one has a separate plug-in machine gun that goes on the back. You'll see that as we rotate these around here in just a moment. Figure number 3 is a casualty, lying dead with a rifle. Always need to have a few of those. Then the next figure, this one is shot, but he's advancing with a machine gun. His left arm is out. So he's on the run, he's been shot, but he's still moving forward. Next figure, advancing, pulling pin from a grenade. So again, moving forward, charging, and hoping to do some damage. The next one is an officer, and this one is standing, shooting a pistol. Good looking figure. Figure number 7 is advancing with a rifle across his waist. And then finally, figure number 8 is standing with machine gun across his chest. So each one of these figures looks very, very realistic. Let's take a look as we kind of move them around. You can see what they look like from several different angles now. Now, as you can see, these German figures are an excellent match for the British paratroopers. And so bringing both of these sides together, British and German, we've got a great group of figures for this first playset. Now, the Longest Day playset was originally priced at $249 and $20 shipping. The price has gone up much more now, where now we're probably talking about $1,200 to $1,500 to $1,600 per playset. And at the time these came out, collectors who wanted to purchase both sets 1 and 2 together were given several additional free items. We'll share with you what some of those were in our future videos. But this is a great set, and Conte did some wonderful sculpting and had some wonderful ideas when we think of buildings and terrain to make this first playset truly come alive. Well, that concludes our tour of playset number 1, Hold Until Relieved. And next time when we come back, we'll look at playset number 2 called Bunker Busting, or Assault on Fortress Europe. And when we look at that playset, I'm also going to show you some of the promotional materials that Conte put together in advertising their sets. And oh, they did a beautiful job with some of their brochures. And we'll take a look at those next time, show you what they look like. But we're so glad you could join us. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.